Greetings, Ram fans. Mark from Rams Up here. I tried to capture all this roster movement in the podcast drop the other day. Pretty much impossible. Rams locker room looking like Grand Central Station at this point. So I'm going to share with you everything I know and what's the dilemma facing the Rams, especially on the offensive line and the secondary against the Cardinals. So let's look at the changes first. The Rams added to their 53-man roster Tack McKinley. He was a first-round draft pick by the Falcons in 2017, has 20 career sacks, and you can think of him as replacing Keir Thomas. The Rams have released Keir Thomas, guy we really liked in the preseason. The Rams have promoted Oday Abushi, the offensive lineman from the practice squad. This guy has 47 career starts. So think of him as replacing Tremaine Ankrum as depth along that offensive line. Alaric Jackson will get the start at right guard, but Abushi is there in reserve now. And the Rams have added Kendall Blanton. They signed him from the practice squad of the Chiefs, and he replaces Bryson Hopkins, who is under suspension for 3 games, violating the NFL substance abuse problem issue rules. And who next? Sean Jolly. The Rams have signed Sean Jolly, the cornerback, off the Browns practice squad, a guy that they really liked. I think they hope to sign him as an undrafted rookie. He's out of Appalachian State. And I guess we can think of him as replacing Troy Hill. Cornerback, it's a little more complicated. We'll talk about that in a second. And practice squad additions. First, let's talk about who they lost from the practice squad. Benton Whiteley. Chiefs signed him off the Rams practice squad. Trey Ragas, the running back, was waived. Abushi moved from the practice squad to the active roster, the 53-man roster. Dan Izum released an injury release, and Matt Overton, the long snapper, he was there basically only because Matt Orzech was dinged up, so they released Overton now that they're more comfortable with Orzech's availability. So who'd they add to the practice squad? Zach Van Valkenburg. Talked about this guy the other night. Edge rusher out of Iowa. You can kind of think of him as taking Benton Whiteley's spot, right? And the Rams brought back Malcolm Brown. Think of him as replacing Trey Ragas. I've talked about him on my podcast a few times. I thought we missed Malcolm Brown's running style on this team. He's on the practice squad, so he's probably not going to get activated. But Malcolm Brown, one of my favorite runs from a few years back, 12 career TDs, great short yardage guy, and great in pass blocking as well. And the Rams signed another running back, Ron Rivers, the running back out of Fresno State, a rookie, undrafted rookie, second leading rusher in Fresno State history. His dad was an NFL running back, mostly with the Lions. And the last guy added to the practice squad, Matt Skura, a guy with 65 starts in the NFL, mostly with the Ravens. So I know that's a lot, but that's what's happened here in the last few days. And there's 3 guys on the roster that obviously aren't going to play next week. Well, some of this is news that I just heard today. We knew about Brian Allen, the center. Coleman Shelton slides over to take his spot. Kobe Durant and David Long. Sean McVay saying they're both out against the Cardinals. So thankful DeAndre Hopkins and Rondale Moore aren't playing for the Cardinals. So this could be really ugly. And previously on IR, we knew about Kyron Williams, and the running back, and Bobby Brown, the defensive lineman, still suspended. And also, late breaking news, Jordan Fuller, the safety, is questionable. So where does that leave our 2 units? The offensive line. I think the offensive line is actually in okay shape. We got all the same starters except for Shelton moving in at moving over from guard to center, and Alaric Jackson stepping in where Tremaine Jackson had stepped in when Brian Allen got hurt. And of course, you get Noboom Edwards and Havenstein. So offensive line, okay. The depth going into this game will be Jeremiah Coloni, Abushi, and Evans. I don't feel great about that, but that's what we got right now. Abushi is very experienced. Bobby Evans, pretty good in run blocking, not so much in pass blocking. And Jeremiah Coloni. Rams had kept him around, so they must like him. I thought he almost made the 53-man roster in the first place. And let's see, what else do we need to talk about? The practice squad, offensive lineman on the practice squad, AJ Arcuri, Chandler Brewer, and Matt Skura. Matt Skura, one of the new guys they added. And of course, out for the year, Brusson Ankrum. So offensive line, it hasn't been a bright spot thus far. I feel okay with this unit going into this game. Cross our fingers that they perform, keep Matthew Stafford clean, and maybe get the run game going a little bit. The secondary is a little more complicated. So our two starters, Rapp and Scott, will be there. Jordan Fuller, talking about safety here, Jordan Fuller, questionable. Terrell Burgess may need to step up. But with Troy Hill, Kobe Durant, and David Long all out, that means the new guy, Sean Jolly, and Darion Kendrick, one of our draft picks, are going to have to step up, and Robert Rochelle. So that's who we'll be calling on. And again, Rondell Moore and DeAndre Hopkins are out, so that's a good thing. And who they're going to go to, they're going to go to Hollywood Brown, Greg Dorsch, who had a big game last week with a TD. And I think the Rams secondary will measure up against these guys. Zach Ertz will be another guy they'll have to take account for. They'll have to account for Zach Ertz, obviously. But Cardinals are dinged up at the wide receiver position, are missing a couple guys anyways. Rams, very similarly in the secondary, kind of an even Steven thing. I think we still got Jalen Ramsey anyways, right? So that's a good thing. And also on the practice squad, we have Grant Haley and TJ Carter. One of those could get activated. I would not be surprised to see an extra defensive back and an extra offensive lineman activated for this game. But I could be wrong. Kendall Blanton, with Kendall Blanton on the roster, maybe Jacob Harris is not activated this week. We'll have to see. So that's all. I just wanted to get this out. So much has changed since my podcast dropped early Thursday morning. Hope you enjoyed it. Remember, subscribe, like these videos, and engage in some conversations. We encourage it. And now, before I sign off, a word from one of our sponsors. Hey folks, Mark from Rams Up here. I wanted to announce we have a new sponsor, Manscaped, the best in below-the-waist men's grooming products. I have the Weed Whacker and the Lawnmower, among a couple other things. Not going to get into the details how I use the lawnmower, not how I roll. But I will tell you the Weed Whacker, which I'm holding in my hand here, is the highest quality and most effective nose trimmer I've ever had. It is amazing. And what's cool about both these products is they're waterproof. You can stand in the shower, do your business, and no cleaning up after yourself, no cleaning up hairs off the vanity or the bathroom floor. Good stuff, just really high performing. I love these products. And if you go to Manscaped now and use promo code RAMSUP, you'll get a 20% discount. So don't miss out on that. That's manscaped.com. Check them out.